Hello and welcome to Phoenix Health and Safety's guidance to the Fire Risk Assessment Practical Examination. This is your pathway to success. We are going to outline the process from start to finish. On the day that your exam begins, you will receive an email which will contain the official risk assessment template. This is the only template you should use to conduct your assessment. It will also detail the final date and time you can submit your examination. Before beginning this assessment, Phoenix Health and Safety are aware that you may be in full-time employment. Therefore, you will need to be savvy with your time within your 10 working day examination period. We have developed a checklist for you to use and refer to. This can help you to be organized, thorough, and efficient. This can be accessed on your e-learning portal. It will also be handy for you to have a copy of the guidance document prior to starting. You may want to refer to this guidance document throughout your studies, as it will detail the criteria you need to include to pass. And please also have a look through the NEBOSH example risk assessment. This will demonstrate the basic information that you need to provide within your examination, as well as how it should be laid out. The risk assessment you produce must be conducted within a workplace environment. If you do not have a workplace, you may volunteer within a local business or a family or friends owned business. Please remember throughout this process that the risk assessment should be able to be read by someone who has no health and safety experience. This will help you to detail specific requirements simply to ensure that a person receiving this document is able to complete actions that they fully understand. Within this assessment, a visual inspection of the workplace will take place. You'll identify hazards, evaluate risks, and recommend further controls, actions, and measures. Once you have completed and submitted your examination, you will receive your results within 50 working days of submission. When you receive your result, you will be awarded either a pass or a refer. Within 48 hours of receiving your result, you shall also receive examiner's feedback. This document will detail each section you have covered within this assessment. It will demonstrate to you which requirements of this assessment you have met. If you have not met a requirement, the examiner explains why in the comment section. When you are ready to begin, ensure your name, surname, and learner number are placed in the header section within your assessment. This information can also be used when naming and saving a copy of this examination. Next, I will explain the information required within the assessment. The examination is split into 4 parts: general information, fire safety audit, summary and action plan, and the review. This process is very similar to a fire safety audit. If you are a student that has a lot of experience of fire risk assessments, please approach this examination with a fire audit mindset. This will help you to complete this examination to NEBOSH standards. The first section asks you to detail the general information of the organization and is split into 3 sections. Section 1A requires you to provide general information. Section 1B requires you to detail the organization's building information. And Section 1C requires you to detail information regarding building occupants. The fire safety audit part of the examination is also split into 3 sections. Section 2A requires you to detail fire hazards. Section 2B requires you to detail fire protection. And Section 2C requires you to detail any procedures and arrangements the organization has in place. In Part 2, we often see that the yes and no boxes are incorrectly completed. Please tick or type yes or no in the required box. Do not tick both boxes. You can only have one answer. Also, in Part 2, we often see students leave comment boxes blank. Please do not leave any comment box blank. Within the summary and action plan, you are required to complete at least 10 significant issues identified as a minimum. For each significant issue, you are required to justify this selection and remember to include your moral, legal, and financial reasons within each justification. You will also detail any current fire prevention and precaution measures. You are also required to provide additional action or controls. You should ensure that every action detailed has a responsible person and completion date aligned to it. Finally, you must review the assessment. Within this section, you are required to detail when this risk assessment will be reviewed, justify why you have chosen this timeframe, and detail how you plan to ensure that each action is complete. When choosing your review date, ensure that you take into consideration the dates you have suggested in Part 3. Please note that this risk assessment does not have a word limit. This should encourage you to be as descriptive as you possibly can. Finally, we wish you all the very best of luck with your examination.